here with Charles Loomis from SixSq at the Cloudscape conference in Brussels, and he will tell us about the nice little cloud that he brought with him. So he has an actually complete cloud. Charles.
So this is the NuvlaBox from SixSq. It is a complete cloud in a box. It's completely local, unconnected to any external network, and has all the cloud software already installed here. So to give you an idea of the size, that's the size of the complete box.
Okay, and it also has some connections on the outside, on the back side that you can show perhaps.
Yeah, so it has some connections on the back side. If you want to connect it to an external network, you can do that here. Yeah. The box will actually bridge everything completely. It also has a connectivity for HDMI and as well USB ports here as well.
Okay. What's inside?
And so what's inside is the software, which is the interesting part. So at the lowest level, it has CentOS installed, which uses libvirt and KVM as its virtualization layer. It has StratuSLab on top of that, which is a cloud software that we use internally, simple and easy to install. And then it has, and then on top of that, it has Slipstream. And Slipstream is the most important part of this because it allows you to have a web interface in front and actually be able to control exactly what's seen. And,
okay, but that's the software. What's in there hardware-wise?
Hardware-wise, it's a standard. It's more or less a standard motherboard. The things which are special about it is it has no moving parts whatsoever, so no fan. So it's completely cooling through this heatsink and a secondary heatsink in the front. It's an i5 Intel chip with 16 gigabytes of memory and 256 gigabytes of data, of storage.
It's 16 gigabytes of memory for the whole cloud? For
the whole cloud,
okay,
yeah. So it's, that's sort of the limiting point right there. But other than that, you can sort of comfortably run about 8 virtual machines on this piece of hardware.
Okay. Good. So the software is Slipstream.
And then so the software on top of that is actually Slipstream. And what you have on top of that is, just let me log in again. So what you have on top of that is Slipstream. What this box does is it actually broadcasts its own Wi-Fi signal. You connect to the Wi-Fi network, and then you can just access the internal network here. It'll bring up the interface, the web interface for Slipstream.
What's Slipstream?
And so Slipstream is a cloud application management platform. It allows you to both define new applications, and once applications are defined, to easily deploy those applications. We say one click, it's actually a few clicks. But once you see here the applications which are available, you click on which application you want to run, and Slipstream handles the entire deployment process and tells you when it's ready. And then once it's ready, basically, if it's a web-based application, you can just click on the link, and it'll bring up the application itself.
Okay. Is Slipstream used outside of this box?
Yeah. So Slipstream is our core product inside of SixSq. Basically, it's used inside this box as a way of just having a nice interface to the local cloud itself. We actually use it in Helix Nebula as well. The marketplace is actually built around the Slipstream product. It has a different skin, but the software behind is exactly the same. We use it ourselves as a software as a service to allow people to actually do hybrid computing between different types of clouds. Just like in Helix Nebula, there's about 5 or 6 different clouds you can use. With the SaaS as well, we support about 10 or 15 different clouds.
Okay, what's Helix Nebula?
And Helix Nebula is a public-private collaboration inside of Europe, basically bringing together European cloud providers and flagship scientific users to allow those users to use a scientific cloud in Europe.
Well, what does it cost?
So the cost of this box itself is software and everything included is 1,500 euros.
And you get it shipped in that box?
And you get it shipped in this box. So that's what comes out. Basically, you unpack it, you attach the little ears to it for the Wi-Fi network, plug it in, and that's it. Then you just need to connect with your laptop or your iPhone or your iPad.
And it plugs into a basic
standard socket. Yeah.
Okay. And how much power does it use?
Actually, I don't know at all. It doesn't use very much, but I don't know the actual spec.
Yeah. Okay. And if you use it, then you typically use it from the outside, of course, or is it something that you intend to have it running somewhere for unattended.
So it depends on the usage scenario. One usage scenario is actually using it for education in places where they don't have their own networking. You can put this in place and use it as a collaboration platform between various people who are all attached to the same box.
Okay.
The other type of deployment scenarios are for smart grid, for instance, where you actually want to have local computing in many different places and control it centrally. In that case, you would actually deploy the NuvlaBoxes in many locations and use a central slipstream server to deploy applications onto those boxes to federate that whole infrastructure itself.
Okay, and then they would need to be connected to, say, a local network. And
so if you want to remote control the box, obviously, then it needs to have some external connectivity. There's also for upgrading purposes, if you want to do that, an external network, you can upgrade via the network. If you don't have a network, then you can upgrade via the USB key. So basically, you can take the differences that you want to put onto the box, plug in the USB key, and then upgrade from that USB key instead.
How many are already in use?
There's so small numbers at this point. So there's about 10 to 15 which have already been produced and are ready to ship out. About half of them are already sold for various things. We're looking at smart grid, for instance, and if we get accepted by the supplier or the customer for that, then we're talking somewhere around 6,000 to 14,000 of these boxes being produced.
Okay, and technology is about progressing. So what's next? What will be the next?
The next thing for the NuvlaBox itself is probably just upgrades to the hardware. So it's just making this a bit more capable than what it is now. And in fact, there are some scenarios where the NuvlaBox, you don't want it to be small like this. You want to actually have a large amount of computing. So there might be a NuvlaBox, big NuvlaBox, where it is actually in a rack or something like that to do the same concept, but with a lot more computing capability. So that's sort of at the hardware level. Software level, we keep it in sync with our normal slipstream updates and all of that. So being able to basically just take advantage of the new slipstream is an important point. In terms of NuvlaBox software itself, the thing which we haven't done but is planned is actually to allow them to mesh. So if you put 3 or 4 in the same area, we want them to be able to discover each other and actually perform a mesh network so you can actually use all of them in a coherent way. So that's sort of a software upgrade we need to do inside the NuvlaBox itself, but that's in the roadmap.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.